Hi, Joanna. Glad to have you on our
Hi,
podcast. And
glad to be here.
yeah, welcome, guys. Welcome to another podcast of InstaTravelStyle Podcast Series. And today we have with us Joanna, directly from LA, California. Joanna, glad to have you on our podcast. I would like to share a few things about Joanna, about her, what she do, and where she lives, and what are her interest areas are. So Joanna also runs a travel blog by the name of losethemap.com, where she shares her travel stories and produces travel related content for several magazines and website portals as well. She loves traveling and exploring the local culture, living with local, exploring them and listening to their stories. So she is a storyteller and she is into meaningful conversation as well. I've seen her like following her from her Instagram handle from quite a while and really liked her content. And she is also an author as well. She has authored one book and you can directly buy from Amazon as well. The book name is Abandon.
Uh, Abandoned Southern California, yes.
Okay, okay. Can you share a few thoughts about that book later, maybe?
Yes, of course.
Okay, okay. And Joanna has traveled to more than 37 plus countries globally. And if I'm not wrong, you have covered almost six continents as of now.
Six continents.
Australia is remaining
Not
as
five continents.
five
Haven't gone
continents.
to Australia, New Zealand yet, but we'll get there.
Maybe after the quarantine or the lockdown gets over, you will
Yes,
get there.
maybe.
Okay. That's it about like Joanna. And let's have some quick round of introduction from Joanna's end. Maybe if I've missed something, you can add it here right now.
Right. I mean, you got pretty much all of it. I've been in LA. I'm from Greece originally. I've been in LA acting since I was 22. And then at some point, I started writing and taking photos and started this blog for my own amusement. And then it became a whole different thing.
Yeah.
And now a means of helping support myself.
Okay.
And I've traveled to over 40 countries at this point. I climbed Mount Kilimanjaro 2 years ago, which was one of the most amazing experiences I've ever had.
Awesome.
and I managed to get down to Patagonia in January, right before lockdown started. So that was my last big. Sorry, one second. That was my last big trip to Argentina and Chile, right before all this happened.
Great.
Yes.
So, what are you doing right now during the lockdown days and in quarantine? Are you working on anything new initiatives, new learnings?
I am working, so I'm finally got around taking a blog course I'd always wanted to take.
Okay.
But it's one of those things where like you never have the time when life gets in the way and you're out and about doing things. Because I think you can always improve, and as SEO changes, techniques on the internet, social media
Algorithms.
algorithms,
Yeah.
everything, it's good to just keep yourself informed about
Updated.
how you can improve.
Yeah.
I mean, quarantine is strange because there are days like I've wanted to get a lot of writing done. I just started recording my own podcast, actually, which I'm going to be very happy to finally get published. But, some days are more productive than others. And
Okay.
I don't know if you could hear in the background, but I adopted a dog in quarantine and she came pregnant as a surprise. So there are now 5 puppies running around my apartment in addition to everything now. Yes.
Okay. Great.
Yeah.
So, like, how's your journey so far been into modeling and acting earlier, then to travel blog? So you are running a travel blog right now, and you have authored a book as well. So you are
Right.
right now wearing multiple hats. So like,
Wearing a lot of hats. Yeah. I mean, now in quarantine, it's a little easier just because obviously acting isn't happening so much. We still get auditions, but nothing's filming.
okay.
It's hard to juggle sometimes because obviously there are times like I try to fit my travels mostly into what we call in LA, like the kind of, I guess dead spaces between auditions, so December, January, or like May to July tend to be kind of lower work times. So I try to fit my big trips into there so I can be more relaxed on them and take my time with them. But yeah, it can be hard sometimes to juggle. Like, I've had to cancel press trips or other travels because of acting jobs I got. And a couple times, vice versa, if an acting job wasn't really like something big. But I think it's worth it in the end, because I get to be creative in all aspects of my life. And that's the goal for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So you're traveling solo right now, or you travel with your family or group of friends? How do you like?
Usually I travel solo, especially if it's for work, because it's just easier to if it's for work, it's weird. When you're traveling with friends, they expect a vacation.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you have to like take all these photos and take notes and run around doing a bunch of things. So it's hard to travel with friends sometimes if you're really going just for work. There are trips where I'll combine things. Like my last trip to Patagonia, one of my best childhood friends lives in northern Argentina. So I went to visit her first.
Hmm.
And that's always nice because like I'm staying with someone who lives there, who knows the language, who you can get a different experience with.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'll travel with family and friends. Mostly it is solo travel though, because it helps get the work done.
Yeah. You got to know about your inner self as well when you travel solo. You get to explore
Yes,
new things about yourself you haven't heard about.
exactly. Exactly. Because when you travel with people, I find it can be very easy to get stuck in this kind of comfort zone. Like if you're traveling with friends, you don't
Mhm.
feel the need maybe so much like meet new people where you are, go explore other things on your own.
Yeah.
And traveling alone gives you, I think, a whole different perspective, but it also forces you to make connections with people when you travel. Because at some point you're like, well, I got to talk to someone,
Yeah. You
Yeah,
get to make new friends when you travel solo. Yeah.
exactly. Exactly.
Can you share a few of your stories, like when you feel quite motivated during your travel? You have met a family or a group of bunch of people there. You have interacted with them, and you feel
Yeah.
motivated by their story, like listening to them.
Yeah, I mean, there have been so many times where, and I end up learning a lot of things I didn't know. Like last time I was in Colombia last year in Cartagena, and I
Mhm.
met this girl, Evan. She was so much fun. She's one of those people, she likes to be out and like doing things and partying all the time. But she also, told me a lot about things I didn't know, how like many Colombians really hate the fact that like, Pablo Escobar gets so much attention in the international media because, they have all these, obviously they went through a lot with that part of their history and they're trying to put it behind them. And, the Western media especially keeps bringing it up all the time. And like,
Mhm.
and you just get to know local perspectives on so many things. Or like in Venice, for example, I met a few Italian guys who were working at the restaurants there, telling me how like, tourism, it brings all this money into Venice, but also they've all been forced to like move across the canal. So you get to hear kind of what people who live there are actually
The real story.
experiencing. Yes, and not just see the very like sanitized tourist version of whatever that city is, and like kind of see
Mhm.
what people there think about what's going on in their country, what's going on in their city.
Yeah.
And I think it's always important for tourists to know that because we can tend to be a bit like willfully blind when it suits us, if that makes sense, because we don't want to
Mhm.
go somewhere and like think that, you know, we might even be contributing to an issue or like we might be acting in a wrong way. But it's always good to keep your, eyes and ears open, I think. So
Yeah. Right. Right. Got it.
yeah.
So during this lockdown period, do you, any of your travel plans got postponed to next year?
All of my travel plans got postponed. I was supposed to go to South by Southwest Festival in Austin, Texas,
Okay.
and like road trip through New Mexico and Arizona and all that because I love taking road trips,
Okay.
especially in the Western U.S. There's so much wild beauty to see. All that was in late March, so that got canceled. And I was planning to do a Balkan road trip because like I said, I'm from Greece originally, but I've only been to Bulgaria very briefly. I haven't really been around the Balkan countries, and I wanted to do a road trip all through that.
Okay.
I'm saving up money, and now I'm looking at
Yeah.
like my miles and my account, and all the money saved up, but I can't do it. So I don't know when that's going to be able to happen, but there is a good chance this year that next month
Mhm.
I'm going to be relocating to Greece
Okay. Your
with my
hometown.
family for a while. Yes, because
Mhm.
they have the situation much better under control than in the US. And,
Yeah. Right.
my parents are older. I want everyone to be safe. So,
Yeah. You should take care of them, their
yes.
old age
Yeah.
as well.
Yes.
Okay. So what are your like biggest learnings as a traveler when you travel? Like what have you learned so far, which you have like initiating that in your personal life right, as of now?
Right. I mean, the two big things I think I've learned is one, people tend to be better than we think. Like, I know, the impulses for people, especially if you're traveling as a woman alone, to be like, be careful, everyone's out to get you, everyone's going to try to, steal or hurt you or whatever. I've generally found that there's so many times where I've been lost or I have no idea what I'm doing or I need help. And like random people will
Yeah.
sometimes go out of their way to like help you out, to point you in the right direction. I mean, one of my favorite stories is I was in Kyoto, spoke no Japanese. had almost no money left on me, and arrived in a train at 12:30 a.m. and my hotel ended up being 30 minutes by cab from the train station and not right next to it as the Google map had shown.
Okay.
And this waitress was closing up a restaurant, invited me to come in, charge my phone because I'd run out of battery, and like ended up calling local small hotels around the area to see if anyone had an availability I could go in. And like, she had no reason to do that. I was just a passing tourist, you know. But travel has taught me that people generally tend to be quite good and kind in this world, which is a nice, refreshing thing, because that's not what you see in the media, I think, so much. So it's nice to like see it firsthand. So that's the biggest lesson. And the second one is that if you put in a minimal amount of effort to learn even a little of the language, which I did try to do in Japan, but it's difficult, or like just even a little of the customs, local people will respond much better to you when you're visiting their country. Yeah.
So have you ever been to India? You've been to India earlier on?
I have not been to India, and it is one of my biggest regrets, because one of the trips I had to cancel because of an acting job, I was supposed to go to Chennai, be based out of Chennai for 6 weeks, and travel around India with India's Cup and the rickshaw rally to like report on it.
Okay.
And I had to cancel that whole trip, and I was so frustrated. I so wanted to go. Yeah.
Okay. You are like very welcome to India. After that,
I would love to come. And I hear great things about a lot of India, but Kerala especially, like a different, I want to.
Kerala, like it's God's own country, you can say.
Yes, exactly.
India is really beautiful and really welcomes the guest outside the world. So welcome to India right now.
Oh, that'll be great. I would love to go. And also, I'm just interested also because India just seems, A, it's huge, but B, it just seems like so many diverse cultures within India, and, different kind of things you can see and experience.
You will hear a lot of stories here. Every new home you go, you will feel another kind of warmth you will feel when you met new people there. So are you a mountain person or a beach person?
Beach. I was raised in Greece and I live in California, so beach person for sure. I do like going up to mountains and everything, but summer and beaches, it's what I was raised with. So.
Okay. Like, when is your first trip? Have you remembered your first trip?
First trip. I was very young. I know that in Greece we tend to travel a lot to the islands within Greece. That's so we'd always visit the islands that my family was from. But my first international trip, I remember, because I know as a baby I went to Barbados, but I don't remember that. My first one I remember is we went to Paris when I was quite young, and we went to Euro Disney, but then we also saw Paris because my parents very much appreciated traveling, raised me to appreciate traveling. So we went to Euro Disney and did that, but they wanted me to also see the city and experience a little bit of that culture. So yeah.
Okay. So when you travel, you like to stay at the hostels or the guest houses, or you prefer the luxury stay of like 5-star, 7-star kind of stuff?
Here's the thing about that. I have occasionally stayed in luxury hotels because sometimes it's nice to, splurge, and if you're able to. But for the most part, I don't prefer it. And the reason is I really believe that a lot of luxury hotels are built to keep you in the hotel and kind of separated from the city, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So some of the best experiences I've had is I've stayed in guest houses or Airbnbs. Airbnb does have a bit of a controversy now because of the way, it's unfolded. But actually another trip that got canceled in quarantine, Mexico City, I was supposed to stay in this 11-room bed and breakfast run by a local family. And like that kind of stuff for me is great because you're staying, first of all, I love supporting locally owned businesses because I think it's really good when you visit to try to give as many of your dollars to local businesses as possible. And second, they know the area. They like helping you out if you're staying in that kind of boutique atmosphere. Locally owned hotels for me for sure, because like I said, the 5-star hotels, they want you to stay in the restaurants and stay in their pools and stay separated. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So how did you get into the travel blogging domain after being into actress? Like, how do you transform into travel blogging, and what keeps you motivated to run a travel blog? Because you share really good content over there.
Thank you. Well, so it started kind of randomly, honestly. I always used to write write articles for extra money. I mean, sorry, it's early in the morning. I used to write articles for extra money always, even when I was acting. So I knew how to write, as part of my work. And one winter, I was visiting my parents for Christmas, New Year's, all that. And I was sitting at home bored, and acting is up and down. Sometimes you're getting a lot of auditions, sometimes you're getting nothing. When you're getting nothing, you don't know what to do. So it was one of those periods where I wasn't getting much. And I'm like, you know what? I know how to write, but I want to write my own content. I love traveling, and I just got a camera and I want to start working on my photography. So I'm like, let me start a travel blog. And initially it wasn't with a thought of, let me make money, let me make this into a business.
Started as a
started as a passion. And, for the first 6 months, it was probably just my parents and my friends reading it. And then, a few articles started to be shared and started to pick up traction. And people started emailing me to ask me to write for them. And it just kept building steam. And then I'm like, oh, maybe I can monetize. Maybe I can think of this in a different way. Because for a long time, it functioned more as a portfolio, if that makes sense. So I would make money not so much off the travel blog, but off people seeing my writing and photography and asking me to do work for them. And yeah, it just kind of developed from there. I mean, as far as motivation goes, I've been thinking about a lot in quarantine, especially, where I feel a lot of us find it hard to stay motivated.
Yeah, right.
There are times where it's easier to get motivated than others, but for me, it's just, I've realized I'm always more motivated when I'm keeping in mind the stories I want to tell and the ways in which I want to,
Sure.
the blog, help people. Exactly. Because sometimes it's easy to get caught up in like, let me do this article because it'll get clicks. Let me do this article because it'll be a good collaboration. But I think that demotivates you in the long run because you're not writing the things you want to write and you're not connecting with your audience in that authentic way,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are currently you are monetizing your blog right now? So what are the current revenue sources you have for your blog to keep them running?
Yeah. So right now it's, I get a good part of the income for the blog through ads, media ads at the moment, and affiliate links. I also do a fair amount of collaborations through my social media that's obviously related to the blog, so like Instagram and all that. So that is the most income from now. I haven't accepted sponsored posts for a while because I've been doing a kind of pivot with my brand and theme and the kind of stories I want to share. So until I get that really focused, narrowed down, and connect my audience, I don't want to be taking on sponsored posts that might not be aligning with what I'm doing. Because I want to make sure that, everything I'm sharing is geared towards what I want to say. And I'm not backing down on that just to get money from someone. So mostly right now it is through affiliate links and social media that I'm getting most of the money in the blog. But as of now, I'm actually I'm looking into creating a course at the moment, which hopefully will help people with travel and how to travel
How to start a travel blog.
How to start a travel blog and how to travel more, ethical, local, supporting, responsible ways. So yeah, hopefully that will end up being a source too. And I sell my photos, I should mention. I do sell a lot of my photos from the blog.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Great. So what are your suggestions for new bloggers and content creators who want to pursue a career in this lucrative domain? You can say blogging, travel blogging.
So I would say be prepared to do it for a long time without it being that lucrative initially. Like you can monetize faster than I did because I didn't start with that plan in mind. So you can, start monetization within a few months, a year or two, but you're probably not going to be making an income to fully support you in the first couple of years. So make sure you're actually very passionate about what you're writing about. Otherwise, if you have to write for a couple of years without making money, you're going to get, bored of it. So I'd say that. And I'd also say the biggest advice that I'd give to myself if I was restarting is just do it sometimes, because like you
don't think about much.
Yeah, because a lot of bloggers want everything to be perfect before they launch their blog. It's not going to be perfect. You're going to realize things you want to change, the design, the way you write, the kind of things you want to say. If you're waiting for like the perfection to publish your blog, it's just never going to be published. That's the thing. So
yeah, right. Yeah. Now, if you can share a few things about your book, like you have published a book on Amazon.
Yeah, of course.
How did you get about that idea? Like you have to publish a book, but
right.
Yeah.
So the book I published, actually two books combined on the same theme. So it's Abandoned California, but it's Abandoned Southern and Northern California. Those are the two books. It's
Okay.
a photo book, but like I did all the photography and the writing for it and everything because it's a fair amount of written content. So it came about kind of by accident. I had a photography show in downtown Los Angeles,
Okay.
and I was there one night, just meeting everyone who was coming and everything. And this woman came by, and I guess she must have worked for this publishing company, because the next day I got an email from them that we're doing a series in Abandoned America, and we'd like you to take on California, because that's where I live, if you'd like to. And for me, it was amazing to get that email, because I have loved exploring and photographing abandoned places since I was young. So to get someone asking me, like, can you do this for money and to publish a book, it was great. Because I'm like, oh, you're asking me to do something I like and get paid for it. Sure.
What you do is what you love.
Exactly. It's an amazing thing. So yeah, I ended up kind of going through California, taking a lot of road trips to explore. California has so many fascinating abandoned places, like old west towns, railroads, stations, just just the history of building up California basically over the years. And I decided to publish a book to kind of also showcase California in that way, because I didn't want to just put a bunch of photos out there with no rhyme or reason and say, well, this is abandoned stuff California, enjoy. So the way I put the book together, especially Abandoned Southern California, is taking a look at the waves of migration out here that shaped California. So first, like the gold prospectors and the cowboys, and then the railroad bringing people out, and then Route 66, people escaping the Great Depression in the eastern U.S. to come out here. So kind of to see how California was created over the years by people who are either coming searching for something better, ambitious for something, or escaping bad conditions elsewhere. And I think all those waves of migration shape the mentality of the West Coast in the US today, where people always come here to pursue a dream or to get away from, somewhere they're not being treated or something like that. And I think it's just interesting to see how it was shaped over the years. And you can see that through the abandoned places that have been left behind.
Okay. So how many years, or you can say months, you took to write that book and to publish? What is the journey?
So yeah, because I had to travel to places, take the photos. And in the US, when you go to like very rural, where the abandoned places are, there's people with guns and you're trespassing. So like you got to be careful when you're doing stuff. But it took a while to get all the photos down. The first book, I think I was assigned it in January, and the deadline was probably May. So it was 4 months to get all the photos and get all the written content out, I was working a lot on it for sure.
Okay.
And then, the next book also another 4 months, I think. Yeah.
Okay. So you are planning for next book as well right now?
Oh no, the second book that came out. So Northern California instead of Southern.
Okay. So in plan to write for more books or not right now?
So actually, I was planning a photography project before all this happened. I don't know when it's going to happen now.
How is the in California right now? Is it okay, or it is bad right now?
Okay. I mean, things are open, but they shouldn't be, because we had 10,000 new cases in a single day just in California. So it's expanding a lot. I think the ICUs are filling up again. So it's they're talking that they're saying we're gonna have to go into second lockdown because we never really got over the first one. Yeah. So yeah, it's not great in California. Like I wouldn't be going out meeting a bunch of people right now. I'd have to for the photography project. So the project, I had teamed up. I'd found a mentor in this amazing photographer who's done work for National Geographic and People, and he was going to be mentoring through this project, which is basically the concept is LA Women. So a lot of what I like to do through sharing my stories is, they're kind of love letters to places I live in or visit and love. But also I like kind of debunking people's stereotypes and myths about a place. So, when people think of LA, a lot of times they think of struggling blonde actress or surfer, and that's all of Los Angeles. And Los Angeles is millions of people from all over the world. I mean, we have, we have Koreatown, and we have Old Tokyo, and we have Thai Town, and we just have all these neighborhoods filled with people from Mexico, Guatemala, whatever. And I've met so many interesting women here. So part of what the photography project, the point was to do basically portraits of LA women and combine it with like their backstories of like where they come from, what they do, you know, people from like super like working class to like really successful entrepreneurs, people who do people who work at NASA. You know, we have a big NASA lab right here. So just to give people the idea that LA is a very big, diverse, interesting place, and the people who live here reflect that. It's not just one kind of person, you know.
Okay, that's a great idea. Yeah, quite good
Yeah,
initiative.
thank you.
So maybe it will get into the picture when the lockdown and everything scenes get good.
Hopefully, hopefully.
Okay, okay. So like I guess we are done with the questions. So if you have anything to share with the audience, with my subscribers, you can feel free to share with the subscribers right now.
Um, I mean, I would say one of the things I love most about traveling, but I think can be done even without, you know, necessarily traveling, is
Yeah,
what I love, especially about solo travel, is it forces you, like I said before, to leave your comfort zone. And I feel that anywhere in life, if we get stuck too long in our comfort zone, it's very easy to just stop growing as a person, stop really looking at what you're doing. So
mhm,
travel is one way to achieve that. But, you know, even like now in quarantine, for example, I'm trying to learn a little language. I'm trying to learn other skills. I'm trying to, you know, I'm trying things like yoga meditation I haven't done before,
yeah.
just to
Explore
explore.
yourself. Like,
Yes, exactly. So I think, you know, part of travel, even if we're in lockdown now, even if we can't travel now, I think
mhm,
there are always ways to keep exploring in life, whether it's
yeah,
traveling or whether it's exploring within yourself. And
mhm,
that's a lot of what I'm trying to do with my blog, and share those stories of you can always be learning and exploring all the time. So
yeah, yeah,
in one way or another.
yeah. We have to keep ourselves motivated during these tough times.
Yeah, because it can be hard sometimes, you know. It's not easy to be told like you can't see that many people, you can't see your friends, you can't go out and do things because we're social animals. But I think
Mhm.
we can take this time to kind of really reflect and, you know, grow ourselves.
Yeah, we have to restart, reboot, re-energize ourselves to bring
Exactly.
back with double
Exactly.
energy, like after when the scenes get good. That's right.
Agreed. Agreed.
Okay, okay, great, Joanna. I'm sure my subscriber would love to know you better today after this candid conversation. And
Yeah.
you can also follow Joanna's blog. It's losethemap.com, and you can also share, like, look after her journey. She has traveled to 37 plus countries, covered more than around 5 continents, like Australia and New Zealand are still left, and she has also some plans for India as well, maybe
Yes.
next year. Okay, okay, thanks, Joanna. Thanks for your time. Glad to
Thank
have
you very
you on
much
our
for
pod.
having me. Yeah, I love talking to you. Thank you.
Okay, okay, awesome, thanks.